Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Video Gamers podcast, Squadcast. I am your host, Paul, and I am here with Josh.
Hello! What's up, my people, my fellow gamers, my brothers and sisters in gaming? What's going on?
What an intro. So much energy.
Yeah.
And Ryan.
Dang, Josh bringing the heat today. We got to pump this energy up, man.
Yeah. Also, I'm really tired now, guys. Sorry. just burned
There
out
it goes.
quickly.
Very nice. All right, guys, let's just hit the ground running here. What games have you guys been playing lately outside of the pod?
Ryan? What you been playing, man? Other than $250,000 golf courses.
Oh, geez. That's just for the membership. That's annually.
That's bananas, dude.
Yeah. Anyways, I have been playing a whole heck of a lot of Once Human, and then the other game I've been playing quite a bit of, and I'm going to give you guys a little game sound effects here, see if you can guess it.
Yeah, that's
You
Tears
mean
of the Kingdom, if I've ever heard it.
Best game of the 2020s, Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even.
No, quick
Somebody
story.
save me.
My wife was in the other room, and she's like, "What are you guys playing?" And I started cracking up laughing. I'm like, "Oh, I know." She's like, "It kind of sounds like sexual." And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Good old Tears of the Kingdom. I love it. I love that you and Jackson are back into it, and you've been having fun with Zonai devices, you were telling us.
Oh, dude, I figured out a good kind of run through to farm all the mats and stuff, and we've just been building the most ridiculous things. It's been fun.
Yeah. I have also been playing a fair amount of Once Human. I know that we're going to talk a lot about that for the Twig episode on Thursday, so I think we'll hold off on most of our thoughts. Josh, I couldn't help but notice that you're playing a fan-made expansion of Slay the Spire instead of spending time in a real game with me and Ryan.
No, okay.
Why do you hate us?
That is a fair question. Let me give you a little glimpse into the life of Josh. So, you guys know I loved Hearthstone, right? Used to play Hearthstone a lot. I need a game.
Yes.
There are many a time where I eat at my desk because we like to surf the internet, or we're just not eating like together. You know, people got stuff going on. It's just like, hey, come get dinner, or you know, you're playing a game. Brandy will bring me dinner at the desk, and it's great, right? But I have always had a game that I can play while I'm eating. Okay, and that used to be Hearthstone, but you guys know I hate Blizzard now, and I refuse to play Hearthstone again. So I remember
you play Overwatch, but go ahead.
Don't
I can see your activity.
Don't question things, Paul. So I remembered, I have Slay the Spire, and I haven't played that in a while. This will be the perfect game to play while I'm eating. The only time I play Slay the Spire is if I'm eating something. Or I have like 10 minutes because we're about to leave to go somewhere, and it's like, don't have time for anything else because that game loads in like 2 seconds. So, and the Downfall expansion was a fan-made expansion that the devs loved so much that they said, we approve this as like an official thing. And so you can download that too, which is great. If you like Slay the Spire, it's a great expansion to it.
That'd be awesome if they said, this is
Paul,
great. We're going to
Paul,
sell
I see
it.
you trying to type stealthily to Ryan.
I'm not typing anything.
There, man.
I'm not typing anything.
Also, you can totally farm mats on Once Human one-handed. Just go around and just F. I did it the other day. My feet were kicked up, and I was eating like a bowl of something, and no problem.
You had a fever?
No, my feet were kicked up on the desk.
I thought you said my fever kicked up, and I was like, I mean, that's a good
I got a
reason
fever, and the only prescription is more Once Human.
I will guarantee you something, locked and loaded, Josh guarantee. If you guys are on Once Human, and I'm not doing anything, I will absolutely join you 100% of the time.
All right, I'm glad to hear that, because if we were playing Once Human and you were playing Slay the Spire, I would feel a little sad. I mean, Slay the Spire is a fine game. It's for all the hate you give mobile games, Josh, it's a mobile game at its heart. Like it's a very good scaled back card game, but it's no Once Human.
I'll take gaming with my homies anytime over a single player card game. It's just because I was eating and like, I need something
gaming with the homies.
Yeah, gaming with the homies. There you go.
Oh, very nice. All right, so moving on in our outline here. For listeners who don't know, Josh puts together our Squadcast outline.
Oh,
so
don't
Josh,
you blame me, Paul.
No, I'm giving you credit. I'm not blaming you.
I know, I'm just kidding.
This is a good question. We have pushed this question several weeks, actually. We're finally getting around to it. So basically, Josh, you want us to talk a little bit about like content drips in games, what pulls us back into them. Famously, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen this with a lot of games. You know, Pal World, they released a pretty big update. We have not really seen a whole lot of response on our Discord. I did see that there was a little bit of an uptick in people playing, but for the most part, people kind of seem done with Pal World. Helldivers 2 has had a constant but small drip. It seems like some people have finally lost their luster for Helldivers 2. Hogwarts Legacy released, if you want to call it an update, it's almost nothing.
It's a valid point into the question, though.
Yeah, they released one quest and some minor cosmetics. So what is the line? What does it take for you to jump back into a game that you have, quote, already had enough of?
This is very easy for me. It is something called Phantom Liberty or Shadow of the Erd Tree.
So you need a full-blown $40 expansion. Otherwise, you're not really interested.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, you guys know I have a really, really hard time going back to a game that I've already played. If I'm going to go back to it, it has to be something that really wows me. I brought up the Hogwarts Legacy thing because, like, hey guys, we just released our summer update for Hogwarts Legacy. It's a new quest and some cosmetics. Like, are you going back to play Hogwarts Legacy because they did that? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It's free advertising. They just want an article written. I think that's what it comes down to. I think it's smart.
And it's not, I'm not throwing shade against anybody that was like, well, I went back to it because I wanted to see what the quest was. Like, Hogwarts Legacy is an amazing game. And I know that there's people that love their comfort games and they'll go back to them, time and time again, like you two. But it was more just that kind of funny, like, is this even content? Like, what does this do? And I think you're right, Paul. I think it's just an excuse to get on a gaming website to say, hey, don't forget about this. Personally, I do need like a full-blown DLC. I need, Downfall, the expansion for Slay the Spire, for me to go, ooh, well, what's that? Or something really spectacular like Phantom Liberty or Shadow of the Erd Tree or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, it's not too much that takes to get me back into a game usually, but to keep me there, usually I have to have really liked it before, or not kind of written it off already. Like I just with one of the new seasons for Diablo, my buddy was hyping me up and saying it's really good, and I saw from a couple other people they said the same. Hopped in, had a blast, played a lot of it. Equally so with Destiny, the finality of Destiny. The same guy was hitting me up, want me to come back, bunch of new stuff. It's better now, it's fixed. I've already written it off. I'm done, and I didn't come back to it. I wanted to, I was tempted to, but it just wasn't there. So to draw me back in, I have to have that, like Josh said, the comfort with that game, that familiarity and the want to play. And so if I get some new content with it, that's the best part. But yeah, it's tough to get me back into certain ones unless the homies are playing and we can all get hyped up. Then I'll definitely hop in.
Yeah. For me, I almost never get back into a game because of new content.
Yeah.
I will replay a game, but it's almost always the base game. And it's because I either want to experience the story by making different decisions. Like if I play Mass Effect, I'm going to go Paragon the first time, every time, but I want to play it again and go Renegade and get all the comedy and all the extra scenes you don't get and all the backstabbing and the violence. And there are other games that I will replay if I can switch my class. And then it feels like a totally different game. Again, Mass Effect does this beautifully. I'll play it once, Paragon with like a Biotics build, and then I'll go Renegade with like an Engineer build. That's what I want to replay a game with. If there is new content, I will almost never pick it up. I can count on one hand the number of games I've played DLC for, and I'm going to tell you right now, they're all Mass Effects and Dragon Ages. I don't do DLC for anything else. I just don't care. I like the base game. You get the conclusion usually, and then I turn it off. If there's new DLC, I don't really care.
I get that FOMO, man.
See, this is my question, Paul, because I have to ask, is this because you feel like new content requires you to play through the game again, like from the beginning? Because I know, like, we've talked about Phantom Liberty, and Cyberpunk is one of your favorite games of all time.
Yep.
And it's like you have said, yeah, I'm not going to play Phantom Liberty until I can replay Cyberpunk again because I feel very awkward jumping into a playthrough where I don't remember what I was doing. I don't remember my builds and that kind of thing. So it's like, but Phantom Liberty is fantastic, dude. Like, it's everything you love about Cyberpunk. So, like, do you not have a little bit of the FOMO? Does it just really, like, you're like, I played Cyberpunk, I'm done with it at this point?
I will absolutely play the DLC when I feel the urge to restart a Cyberpunk playthrough. When we picked up Phantom Liberty, we were going to talk about it on the show, so I already bought it. But when I jumped in, they changed so much with the skill trees that I'm sitting there staring that I've got these like 130 points or whatever to spend, and I just don't know where to put them. And they've changed so much about gunplay and melee builds, and I'm like, well, now do I have to go do like an hour and a half of research just to know what kind of build I want? And I just sort of like clicked and picked some stuff, and I played for about an hour, and I was like, you know what? I'll come back to it when I do a full playthrough. So the few times that I have done DLC tends to be, okay, I'm ready to play this game again. Now that there's some DLC, maybe I'll pick it up, maybe I won't. Like Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition does have like, after the game ends, major story implications. So I did pick that up and I played it. But honestly, the game kind of ends in a good place as is. You don't even really need DLC. I'm usually just fine with the base game.
So you're saying if they came out, Rockstar comes out with a surprise DLC for Red Dead, you're gonna replay the whole game through to play that
100%.
DLC?
I believe
really?
it's a great. That's what I'm saying.
Excuse.
With Paul, I believe it 100%. It's just weird because it's like I would jump in to play just the DLC. And I would fumble my way through like the first 2 hours. And I felt the same way you did, Paul. I didn't know nothing, man. And you and I both have a little bit of that choice paralysis where it's like, I don't really want to spend these skill points because I'm worried I'm going to spend them wrong or something like that. But it's like, you do just kind of get into the flow. Your body starts to remember, your brain's kind of like, oh yeah, I remember this character. And yeah, I remember how to drive now and that kind of stuff. So it's like, I will get past that awkward phase to avoid having to replay the game so that I can experience the new content. Whereas you're okay just saying, I'll just wait until I get the urge to play this game again, and then I'll have that little bit of a new experience to go along with it.
Yeah, if it's like a 10-hour expansion, I want to enjoy all 10 hours. I don't want to fumble for the first 4, and now I'll appreciate the last 5 to 6. So yeah, it's certainly like Hogwarts Legacy. I don't know that I'll ever launch it again. And I absolutely love and treasure that game, but there are no choices you can make that are going to make me want to replay it. The gameplay was great, but you can't like completely change your build. It's not like Diablo or World of Warcraft or something. So, I love it. I'm not going back for one small quest and cosmetics. I can certainly tell you that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's continue a little bit of these, pick one out of 3s that we did in the last Squadcast. So we are looking at Dune Awakening, Judas, and the new Fable, which, of course, we don't really know anything about quite yet.
Well, we don't really know anything about any of these, really. I mean, we have a little bit of
seen
info.
Footage of the other two.
Now, the kicker here is that whatever you pick, the other 2 go away. Like, you don't get to play them. So
for me, I'm crossing out Dune Awakening immediately. I am very concerned about that project. I love the Dune movies. I do not have a lot of confidence in Dune Awakening. So for me, it's between the other 2. Judas, I feel, is the safer pick because we've seen more and we know that it's a good project. Fable, I'm not convinced that they've really started anything, to be honest. I mean, I really just don't know. I think Fable, for me, has the higher ceiling, but I would have to say Judas if I had to pick today. That's what I would say.
I'm disappointed. Okay. You don't have to see anything. It's Fable, man.
It could be great. It could be horrendous. It may never come out. We don't even know. We know zilch about it.
Don't put that evil on me.
This is crazy. This just goes to show you how different we are as gamers, but this is also what makes things awesome, because I'm picking Dune Awakening.
Nice.
Legitimately, okay. I mean, everything that I've seen about the game so far, albeit that is limited, is looking really good. I love
Can't ride the worms.
I love the Dune universe. The worms, I get that the worms are like just a threat, now. And of course you have to leave room for expansions, Paul. So, I've been hungry for that MMO. I'm pretty much done with First Descendant at this point. I really have lost my will to log in and play. And I think our buddy Andy knows it. So I'm not like racked with guilt there either, but I love that like MMO type feel. And if Dune Awakening gives that to me, then I'll take it. I'll be sad about Judas. But Judas, I think, is going to be BioShock 4, basically, where it's going to be like, this is all very familiar. It's awesome. I know it, but I already played games like this at the same time. And I'm kind of with you guys on Fable. It's kind of like, I don't know what to expect with Fable, man. Fable, when it came out, was so groundbreaking. But how's it going to be groundbreaking now? Like, everything that Fable did in the past has been done a million times since then. So either you have to innovate something completely amazing, or this has to be the most polished, fun game to play to live up to that Fable name. And I just don't know.
Yeah, I totally hear you. So Ryan, you're just banking on the ceiling of Fable and how good it can be. Is that the thought process here?
Put it all on black.
There you go.
Put it all the eggs in one basket. And I do want to say, speaking of MMO type games, there just happens to be one that, maybe your other two hosts are kind of playing right now. But
I wasn't going to say it, but
I'll say it.
Okay. Number one, I played the other night by myself and gained a couple levels, and I was like, hey, I'm level like 20 now. And it opened up Eternal Land and something else that I have no idea what it is. The main thing is I just don't know what most of this crap is, man. So it's
such
like,
a high learning curve.
I mean, I'm unlocking stuff. I hit level 20. I've got Eternal Land now. A whole bunch of things popped up, and I don't know what any of this stuff means. What the heck are star crumbs? What is Stardust for? What's a Stardust generator? I can make a Stardust deflector wall? Like, I don't even know what Stardust is, and you're telling me I can build all these things in this game? I like the game, I really do, and I have been playing, but it's just, I don't know. I'm having a hard time with like getting sucked into the game, and I want to because I see you two kind of getting sucked in, and it's like, well, I want to get sucked in too, but it just hasn't done it yet. And it's nothing against the game itself.
It's got its pros and cons. I almost feel like you have to go to Once Human College and learn all these systems and all of these screens. And the fact that I was like level 23 before I even knew to check for season rewards. And then they're like, here's 48 ciphers to go unlock a million new things. And I was like, oh my goodness, this game, it really is live service gaming. There is a lot. I think it's more akin to an MMO than it is something like Rust.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get into more details for Twig on Thursday. All right. Next question here. Host question. Would you rather own a bird, a snake, or a rabbit?
The answer is no.
You don't want any of them?
I don't want any of these things.
I don't want any of them either.
I don't want any of them, man.
No, you guys never wanted any, like a cool snake as a kid?
We had a snake when I was a kid. Actually, we've had a couple snakes in my lifetime. My mom had a snake, and then my sister had a snake, and snakes are dumb, dude. Like, it's cool to have a snake, and I think it's really neat to like feed a snake and watch how they actually like, constrict an animal and then swallow it whole. And it's like, whoa, that's really neat. But then they just sit there and they do absolutely nothing. True. And then it's like, no, dude, look, I can wrap it around my forearm. And it's like, and then what? And it's like, I got a snake on my forearm. And I'm like, but it's not doing anything.
Walk around the mall and be that weirdo with the snake.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I don't know if you guys have thought of this though. With the bird, I would get a falcon and then you could hunt with it.
Dude, have you guys seen the videos of the dude that's in Arizona that hunts pigeons with his falcon and gets them off of like people's houses and stuff?
No, but
dude,
I'm gonna.
This is the coolest thing ever. He's got videos, right? He's got like reels and stuff. You just see him driving down the street real slow, and it's like he knows the house, and then he sticks his arm out the window with the falcon, and then he just like whistles, and the falcon just rockets off to where the pigeons are roosting above the windowsills on this person's house. Obliterates these pigeons. I mean, yeah, Paul, like feather explosion, and then the falcon just comes back and lands on the guy's arm, and it's like, job's done.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's pretty good. If I had to pick one of these, I will say I'm going with a bird, but I'm getting one of the big, like large smart birds, like the African gray parrots or the cockatoo. That's like the big one that they snuggle you and stuff like that. I ain't getting no little squeaky cockatiel lovebird type thing that's just going to never shut up.
But if you get like one of those crazy parrots, they live to be like 85 years old.
That's fine.
Like, do you really want to own a parrot for the rest of your life?
If he's cool, yeah. I mean, if that dude's like chilling with me,
that's too long.
And he's hugging me and he's sitting on my shoulder while I'm playing games, and falling asleep and stuff like that. Like, yeah, dude, I'm all right with that.
Well, we own a rabbit, and I don't like it. I don't want to own a snake, and I don't want to own a bird. I feel like birds are going to make noises that are going to bug me, and I don't want feathers getting loose like in my house. I will say, Ryan introducing like the more predatory birds, I have a little bit more interest, but only slightly. Snakes, I don't want to I don't want to have to go to the store and like buy mice. Like, I don't know, how often do you feed them? Like once a week or whatever?
Yeah,
I don't want to have to go to PetSmart and have to buy another mouse and then feed it. I guess I'll go with bird.
Okay. My brother too had two. My brother Marcus had a couple snakes, and he was like, "Oh, I don't want to do that either." So he started having his own rats at home, and then they multiplied to like 1 million. He's like, "I got too many rats. You got to help me find somebody to take them."
That's a real problem.
I was helping him find places to take the rats, and then no stores wanted them, or a few would take a couple of them, but not all of them. And he had an overpopulation of rats. It was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Then you buy a cat. Then you buy.
Yeah.
You just got to keep adding more and more.
And then you have a farm like Paul.
Yeah, that's how it happens. All right, moving on to an industry question here. So, shocker, I can't believe this, but Microsoft is talking about raising the price of Game Pass. They are adding a standard tier. I know that we all kind of took a look. These aren't huge price hikes. It's $2 or $3 a month that they're adding to all the tiers. And if you decide to go with the new standard tier, you don't get the day one titles that you do for the higher tier. So if you want, you can save $5 a month for standard, but then you don't get the day one titles. I don't know. I guess I'm not shocked. I feel like there's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and Microsoft raising the price of Game Pass. Yeah, like, how do you guys feel about it? Because I don't think any of us have an active Game Pass subscription, do we?
I do not.
I don't.
I have created like 6 or 7 different ones over the years to try out a game or something. But it's tough because, especially now, we're kind of seeing the price of everything going up. You know, I mean, inflation and just the economy and stuff like that. And, you know, everything's costing a lot more money, and it kind of sucks, you know. But at the same time, when everything's costing a lot more money, you kind of expect that, you know, hey, the subscription's going to go up $1 or $2 or $3 or something like that. So I don't like it, but I still feel like the value you get for having Game Pass is worth $20 a month, which I think is what the premium ultra tier cost. Like, yeah,
Game Pass Ultimate,
$20 a month to have access to like 5,000 games is that's worth it, man. I mean, I'm paying, what is it, $8.99 a month for Peacock to stream Parks and Rec. We're paying $8.99 a month for Crunchyroll so that we can occasionally watch an anime if we want to. It's like, I rarely use those, you know, and it's like, if I had Game Pass, I'm playing video games all day. So it just makes sense.
Depends on the kind of gamer. Like, Ryan and I would be fine playing X Defiant and Once Human, and those are just free, and we would be fine playing nothing but that for a couple months. But especially for someone like you, Josh, where you want to hop around a lot, obviously the Game Pass is a far better value than buying all this stuff.
I mean, it is case usage. I will say that. I mean, there's a lot of people on our Discord server that use Game Pass a lot, and they talk about their favorite games on it. I mean, it is a limited library, even though it's a big library. There are games that you're going to want to play that just aren't on it, you know, and then you got to debate, like, do I want to go pay for this game that I want to play, but I'm still paying $20 a month for Game Pass? I think it's a case-by-case usage, but I will say, as much as I hate all of the price increases on everything, $20 a month for access to that much still seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, that's not that bad. $20 a month. I don't know if you guys know this. Did I tell you that I got an Xbox?
No, what did you get?
The S is the newest one, right?
Series X.
Okay,
yeah, I don't have an Xbox.
I don't know.
It's S and X, and X is the better one than the S.
Okay. Because you guys know, after our Fan Fusion thing, I got super overhyped. Yeah, and I bought that 3D printer, and then I didn't like it, and I found a guy that traded me an Xbox for it. I'm like, okay, that'll work. And so I got it in my daughter's room now, but I may sign up for that, honestly, because she's kind of just starting to develop like what she likes as a gamer, and she's playing a ton of Stardew Valley and Don't Starve right now. But it may be cool to sign up something like that so they could try a bunch of different games, see what type of games they like, you know, before we have to start shelling out money for it. So, but yeah, I mean, like you guys said, everything's going up nowadays anyways, but you know, luckily all wages kind of follow suit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We're all making more money. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
we really all are.
Wait, what?
It's not going to the CEOs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's at $20 a month. That's hard to beat. If you figure if that's all you pay for over the course of a year is just Game Pass, you're getting amazing value. There is a thing to be said when you sign up for too many services and you're no longer using them. Like if you have Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Crunchyroll, and MGM Plus, and you start adding all this up. Obviously, it's stupid, but yeah, $20 a month, especially if you've never had an Xbox or a gaming PC. Like, go play all those Microsoft exclusives and have an absolute blast. And you can always just quit and reactivate it later. It really is a great deal. All right, moving on to a host question. What is the game that you have played over the longest period of time? And what's the secret sauce that kept you going back to it?
I know Paul's.
I know Paul's.
Yeah.
I know
you guys
Ryan's
don't know
too,
mine.
I think. Oh, yeah.
You don't know
PUBG
mine.
for Paul.
Yeah. PUBG.
Over the
No?
longest period of time. This isn't most hours played because that would be Warcraft for Paul. But over the longest period of time.
Yeah, it's not PUBG.
Well, you did get back into raiding on Warcraft like 2 years ago. I remember when you had your Tuesday
it's
night.
not Warcraft.
What?
Man.
Is this some mobile
It's the
game?
very first. No, it's
Oh.
the very first game I ever played. I go back to it all the time.
Superman 64?
Close. That's Ryan's favorite game.
Mario.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yep.
I will still
Really?
fire it up. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. I love playing it. It's a mix of the music, the nostalgia. I still know where every single hidden coin box is, the whistles. Sometimes I do like a speed run where I'll grab the whistles and go straight to World 8. There's other times I'll go through all the worlds and do like, the Ice World and Big World and all that. I love Mario Brothers 3. I go back to it all the time, and everything about it I absolutely love.
Well,
But PUBG is
we were
probably my
wrong.
second answer.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least we're on the same mindset. We thought we knew at least.
Paul, is this secret Mario life I didn't know about?
I know, right?
Yeah,
I play them all the time.
We can't track it because it's not on Steam.
I know.
So what's mine, Josh? Since you know mine,
I would say Destiny for you over the longest period of time. Or maybe
A Metal
I don't
Gear
know.
Solid.
Yeah, I was going to say or Metal Gear game.
I get. Well, it couldn't. Not Metal Gear because that's. I guess if you were going to say a series, I played those for a very long time. That would probably be it if it's a series. But for just one game that I've been playing, it would be Skyrim for me.
Oh,
I'll still go boot that up and just where was I and look, and again, like we were just talking about, I'll fumble around for like half an hour. Oh yeah, I was doing this. I'm making this Daedric armor, and then I start just right away going right back to it and just zone out. So yeah, it's that kind of combination of the lore, adventure, action, and then you can just relax in some parts of it too.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
makes
always
sense.
my go-to.
Yeah, just fun getting lost at looking around some area. What do y'all think
Yep.
mine is?
Well, you're back playing Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch is a good guess. Yeah, is it Overwatch?
I it's funny because when did Overwatch come out? Do we know what year?
2016?
2016. There was another game that came out in 2016 that I also play a lot of. And that's
Rocket
League.
Yeah.
My first come to mind for me was Rocket League. I always go back to Rocket League. I might take a month or two off here and there. But it's just that it's that game that never gets uninstalled. I might not play it for a little while, but I'll just go back. I'll go back over and over again to see kind of how the game has progressed and the players have progressed. And it's got that arcadey feel where it just never gets old. Overwatch would be the other one where it's like, I have played it since the day it released. I have jumped in from time to time, gotten really involved, completely stopped playing for months at a time, but then, recently freaking reinstalled it and now I'm playing Overwatch again, so it's like those two, I don't know which one came out first because I played them both since release, but
it's Rocket League.
Is
I
it?
looked it up. Rocket League came out actually almost a full year before Overwatch.
wow, really?
So July 2015 is Rocket League. Yeah. So I guess that's your answer. That's almost it's actually just past the 9-year anniversary.
Yeah. So 9 years I've been playing
Dang.
Rocket League for. Whew, I wish I was better at that game. After 9 years.
Investing 9 years of training.
Oh, man.
All right. Moving on to a gaming question here. All right. So we did previously talk on the pod about a trailer that we saw for Alcahest. We talked about like whether or not we thought stuff was gameplay or more, filmed cinematic type stuff. It looked very impressive. We talked about some of the stuff like the arrows getting blocked by a wooden shield and you see like the wood getting splintered and chunks falling off and flying away. We saw how he was like mixing potions, covering the top with his thumb, shaking it, and then throwing the potion at a door, and you see it like turn to ash or something like that. Yeah. And all that stuff looked really cool. But at the same time, it seems like that's like cool cosmetic stuff within gameplay. But Josh, you kind of wanted us to think through, like, what do you think the next big breakthrough in game tech will be that changes the future of gaming?
Yeah, so to put some context in front of you guys, because this kind of sounds like a little bit of like a vague question, where we looked at Alcahest and we went, this is next gen gaming right here. And then we all kind of went, well, we don't really think this is actual gameplay either. And the world kind of agrees, and they went, they tried to make it look like gameplay, but we really doubt that it's actual gameplay. But that said, I felt like it was a glimpse into the future, right? Because if people were like, no, dude, this is the game, like everything you're seeing is gameplay footage, I think we'd have our minds blown, right? To where it's like, wow, well, this is truly next gen type stuff. We talk about Space Marine 2, right? With the Horde technology. And, you know, it looks phenomenal. I mean, you can tell right away, your brain just kind of goes like, whoa, look at all these guys on the screen at any given moment. And like, people have tried to do that before, but I think it's mostly kind of faked in that regard, where you can't actually shoot the guys while they're falling from the sky kind of thing or something like that. And it just got me wondering, like, where is that next evolution of gaming, right? Like, I mean, for a while, it was just single player games. Then it became online and multiplayer, and everybody lost their minds, you know? And then we got to where you could have 30 characters on the screen at any given moment. Halo, the original Halo, was kind of infamous because you'd be fighting 5, 6, 7 enemies at a time, you know? And you were like, whoa, like all at the same time? You know, and it's they're running around and taking cover. Like, this is mind blowing. So it's just like that thought process of like, where does it go from here?
Yeah.
You got an answer for this, Ryan?
The only thing that really comes to mind for me is, I mean, how we described this trailer and stuff. It's just immersion. Like, I think that's the name of the game. Like, however they achieve that, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not super detailed and savvy on the tech or the coding or any of that stuff. But however they can accomplish creating that immersion to where the consumers just get lost in these games and are drawn to them and disappear in this world, you know, however they do it, I think that's going to be kind of that next level that just takes it to new heights and then everyone follows suit.
Yeah, my answer for this is along the same lines as yours, Ryan. It's going to be utilizing AI to rewrite storylines on the fly. I think we have been so used to statically programmed stuff. Like, to do this mission, you have to do this. And then as soon as you do it, everyone gets the same reward. Everyone gets the same next mission. I really don't think we're that far away where the game is going to completely rewrite stuff as you play it. Maybe if you shoot and kill someone, maybe the police open an investigation against you and you start seeing like wanted posters and people might recognize you. Like, I could see AI working stuff like that into a game that otherwise wouldn't have it. Like, could you imagine playing Skyrim, but all of a sudden the game starts reacting around you the way things would be if you were in that environment?
Oh no.
Like, I think that's where you're going to get that kind of immersion and where you're going to see those next steps. I think a lot of people were hoping it would be VR. Apologies to our VR enthusiasts. If it was going to go fully mainstream, it would have already by now. It's got its niche market. People love it. But I think it's going to be seeing AI do that. Maybe not yet from the ground up where you can give it prompts like, give me Mass Effect 4 if Shepard did this. Like, I don't, that's still a while off, but I do think we're going to start seeing stuff rewritten within games. If nothing else, NPC interactions and dialogue. We already know that's in the works.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen trailers for that too. I'm with you on the AI stuff, Paul. It's just hard for me to actually imagine it because we haven't really seen it in practice. You know,
it's gonna be awesome. That's what's
really
so fun about it.
I do think it's going to be pretty mind blowing. Like you said, having the world react around you is something where it's kind of coded in right now. You know, if you're Paragon Shepherd, you know, versus Renegade Shepherd, the game will kind of he's coming, and the NPCs are told to act scared or something like that. But I do see a world where it's actually like dynamic and realistic. I think for me, the one thing that kind of jumps to mind, I'm with Ryan on the immersion thing. And I think that trailer for Alcahest kind of gave us a glimpse of that. Like, what if things actually behave like they did in the real world? If I block a fire potion with my shield should catch on fire, right? And then now it's going to start charring and I need to drop it because it caught on fire. You kill a monster and you can actually lean down and pick up its weapon because it had a dagger that it was trying to kill you with. And it's like, how many games do you loot a corpse? And then it's like, you found a tuft of hair. And it's like, well, where was the dagger that dude was trying to use against me? And it's like, no, you can't have that.
Or you find the dagger on the boar.
Right.
Or something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So, I think that level of realism could definitely come into play. The other thing for me would just be scale, right? And I think as gamers, we're kind of used to this large scale type stuff, but I think we kind of get a glimpse of this with like Star Citizen, with like persistent universes, right? I just saw a thing literally today, where Ashes of Creation, which is like a huge MMO that has been in development for years and probably still has a few years left, talked about they're bringing the Massive back to the massively multiplayer online, right? And they said that they are going to utilize server meshing, which is what Star Citizen utilizes, where instead of picking, how in World of Warcraft you picked your server and you had maybe 1,000 people on that server meshing does away with all that. You just have 10,000 people you're playing with at that point. And they're individual servers and they contain themselves, but they interact with each other. And if one server crashes, it just moves to another server, right? So you don't have these like, hey, the whole server's down now and now everybody has to try to log back in kind of thing. So I do think there's a world where we can see video games approach a scale that we are not used to even today. And I think once they achieve that, I think it will be kind of mind blowing for a lot of people to say like, I've played MMOs, but I've never played an MMO on this scale.
Yeah, and besides, once Star Citizen comes out, we'll be long dead.
Oh yeah, they can
just load our consciousness into the game, and talk about immersive.
Well, they're very close to being done. They just have to raise, $27 trillion and then they'll be done.
It's going to pay for the release of the game.
Yeah. All right. I know we're quickly coming up on the end of the show, but I feel like we should ask one here because it is timely. So I did chuckle a little bit at this question, but Josh, you wanted to ask us, what happened to our hype about Flintlock?
Yeah. Oh, I did put that in the question, didn't I?
To which my answer is, I was never hyped for Flintlock.
Oh, you were too, Paul.
Oh, pull up the tapes, dude.
It was
Paul was never.
I was not.
Although, wait, I'm pretty sure, actually, we saw a very curated trailer for Flintlock where it actually looked like God of War because they were swapping the camera angles and it was zooming around and it was showing the combat. I think a little bit of that was juiced up, but that trailer got us a little bit hyped. And you even said, okay, this game looks pretty cool. That was when they were comparing it with God of War meets Elden Ring, I think. Yes, and they were throwing out big terms like that. So,
well, part of it is we played the demo.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the demo
is what happened.
It's thoroughly mid.
That was my answer to this is I played the demo. The game is good. It's a solid 6 out of 10, I think. But I just don't really have time to dive into a 6 out of 10 game right now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the same thing. I'm like, I played the demo. That's where my hype went.
Yeah, because I think it comes out in 2 days from the day that this will release. Yeah. So it's right around the corner.
It's kind of like I have Lords of the Fallen, right? Like we talked about that. Another kind of like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that game. I've seen a lot of people enjoy it, but it kind of just seems like a 6 out of 10 game.
Yeah, there's a lot of these games that have like amazing graphics or something that they hold on to that they highlight, but then there's just something missing from like the entirety of the game. But yeah, do any of us plan on picking up Flintlock? There's not a chance I will. No? Okay. Yeah. That's kind of what I thought. I figured that'd be a relatively
It just
quick
goes
question.
to show you, and this is, these are all squad mates that we've got here, and it's like we can get hyped about a game, we can see stuff, and we can say, hey, this looks good, and then you kind of start playing, and you go, okay, maybe not, like... It's the job of a trailer to get you hyped. It's the job of a demo to try to hook you. And in this case, I think we all played the demo and went, there's nothing wrong with this game, but there's nothing really great about it either. So I got other games I can play.
It's a relatively poor Souls-like. Yeah. So why would I pick it up?
Yeah, thankfully there is demos because I get hyped at every trailer.
I know.
I'm way too. I'm like, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
Ryan would be so poor.
Yeah.
Dropping 60
or
bucks
I'd be
per.
stuck playing Redfall.
Oh, there you go. Oh, gosh. Good old Redfall. All right. So we always got to end on a food question. And I am so curious to hear more about this, Josh. So apparently, for our listeners out there, Josh said that they ended up in some kind of massive quesadilla debate at work. And so Josh has a question for us. Is a quesadilla made with one tortilla or two? And to me, this is so clearly one answer, but I want to hear,
okay,
Josh, do you want to present both sides or do you want to hear our answer first?
Let me just set the stage a little bit. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. I mean, I go to Taco Bell and I get the spicy chicken quesadilla, right? And it's like, it shows up in the box and it's got a tortilla with all the stuffing and then a tortilla on the bottom. I wouldn't even think twice about it, and I've seen many a quesadilla where it has a tortilla on the top, the filling in the middle, and then a tortilla on the bottom. And in my brain, I've always just said, yeah, that's a quesadilla. If it's got meat and cheese smashed in between it and it's thin, not like a burger or something, then it's a quesadilla. And then somebody went, no, a quesadilla is always one tortilla folded over. And he said, have you ever seen a round quesadilla? And then that kind of blew my mind because I went, wait a minute. Wait, is two tortillas not a quesadilla? And then everybody lost their minds and people were like, no, it's still a quesadilla. And then I just don't know. Everything I've always known, I don't know anymore. And I have a feeling that both of you, because you grew up in Arizona, which, has very good, authentic Mexican food, are going to tell me that a quesadilla is only one tortilla that's just folded over on itself.
Yeah, it's definitely one tortilla.
What the heck do you call something that has two tortillas?
Well, here's the thing.
That's a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell is what you're thinking.
No, because I have had... Okay, so you're telling me if I take a tortilla and I put chicken and cheese in the middle of it and nothing else and I melt it all up and then there's a tortilla on the bottom, that you're not calling that a quesadilla?
Sure, I might call it that, but that's like taking a weird left turn. No one ever says make me a quesadilla and goes and grabs two tortillas like that. If you grew up with Hispanic food, I'll just say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't use Taco Bell as your example, but like if you go to any Bertos around here, Humbertos, Filibertos, Iribertos, any of them, it's always one big tortilla folded over. Having said that, though, out of ease of mass production, growing up, we always did two tortillas because it's twice the amount of food and the same amount of work on a pan if you're just pan frying them or whatever. So we put some butter on it, throw the tortilla, cheese and chicken, throw another tortilla on top. At the same time it'd take to make one, you're making two. So, and I came from a big family, so that's how I always grew up making them. But if you're just saying straight up what is technically a quesadilla, it's one tortilla.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys. It just blows my mind.
I wouldn't argue with you, but I would just say technicality wise, it's one.
Yeah, there's not another word for that. I would just say, yeah, that's a little bit of a weird quesadilla. That's all I would say. Now, what's funny is in Arizona, our greatest contribution to the culinary world is the Arizona cheese crisp.
I was just going to say it.
Dude, so weird to me. This is
so much better than quesadillas. This should replace quesadilla on every menu in the world.
Oh, yeah.
This is the only, people are always talking about the stupid Sonoran hot dogs being the Arizona food. It's no, get that out of here. Cheese crisps are so much better. It's an open face quesadilla, basically, where you take a tortilla item. You cover it in cheese and you brush butter around the edge and you bake it. And it comes out almost like pizza, where it's got a crispy edge. Yeah. It melts all the cheese in the middle. It is so much better than a quesadilla.
I have never understood the cheese crisps thing.
Well, nobody else in the country does either.
I don't get it.
I remember as a kid, we were on vacation in Kentucky or something, and we were at a restaurant, and I think my sister asked for a cheese crisp, and they looked at her what's a cheese crisp? But yeah, it's so good. You get that crispy, crunchy edge, and even you throw a little seasoning on it, taco seasoning, and then you broil it just enough to really, really bubble up on top. Yeah,
cover it with lettuce, a little bit of sour cream, delicious.
Isn't that just a tostada at that point? I remember Taco Bell had the little round things.
Tostada's
and they just
a real
pile
hard
stuff
shell.
in. It's like, what is this?
It's
This
not-
is a
it's
taco
not hard
that's not
enough.
folded over, man. Like,
It's not fried. Like you're not frying, and you're using a flour tortilla, so it's not like a fried corn tortilla. It's a baked flour tortilla.
this sounds, guys. I've had a cheese crisp. This is what I got my kids when they were 4 because they didn't want anything else. And it's literally just a tortilla with cheese melted on top of it.
Yeah.
And that's
great.
it. Like, this is like, what is this, man?
Well, you can put any toppings on it that you want. I mean,
But
if you
then
want to
it's a
go full
pizza at
carne
that point.
asada
I mean,
or
you
whatever,
start
go
putting
for
extra
it.
stuff on there. It's just a Mexican pizza.
Let's just say all Mexican food is like 100 variations of different ways to do a tortilla hard or soft. That's like Mexican
it's like
food.
take a
They're
grilled cheese
rolled.
sandwich.
Folded in half. They're all the same.
It's an open-faced grilled cheese sandwich made on a tortilla instead of bread.
No, not exactly. It's in the oven, not on a pan. It's different.
And bread is much
Similar.
different than a tortilla.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, if there's anything we learned today, it's we should be taking Mexican food advice from Josh.
That's true. I've been eating double carbs with all these double tortilla quesadillas I've been eating.
I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be for me and Ryan with like Southern food. Like, what would we screw up so badly? I don't know. I can't even.
It'd be like
Grits and mashed
saying like
potatoes.
gumbo is soup. You know, like where like gumbo
Yeah.
is its own entity and is obviously
It's just-
gumbo. But
that's a good one.
If you threw some shrimp and chicken in a soup and tried to call it gumbo, like you'd get murdered. You know, like
Maybe that's the equivalent.
yeah. So it's like
Next poker night, I'll bring gumbo for Josh.
yeah, like would they
This
would they
is soup,
taste
Brian.
similar? Would somebody know like that didn't know? Like probably not. They'd be like, "Oh, this is good soup," you know, and it's like no. So maybe it's the same thing.
Nice. All right. Well, that wraps everything up for this Squadcast. Thank you so much to all our listeners for the love and support. We appreciate all of you immensely. And until next time, happy gaming.
See ya.
All right, see you, everybody.